I believe I have everything set up. I believe that's alright. Twitch is live. I'm just waiting for YouTube. If YouTube is going live, which I don't know if it is. Look up. Hold on, boys. I'm just checking to see if I have YouTube working. Because, well, I don't really care if YouTube's working. I think having people have it is working. Cool. I'm glad. Alright, the YouTube stream is working. It just doesn't look like it's working for me, which is... well, it doesn't look like it's working in the way I think it's supposed to be working, but that's okay. That's working, that's working. Alright. Now this let's bring this over here. Sorry, I'm still setting things up while we are still in the pre-game showing. I gotta like move everything because I have like 80 things to look at. That's okay. Let us go over the saves and bans of this. Let us lower the music a little bit more there. Now it should be hopefully in a spot where I'm louder than it, but it is still hearable. We'll see as we go on, but as far as I'm concerned, I believe I should be louder than it. Let's go over the bands. We have List Royale versus Story Enjoyers today for you guys. And then we will have Rough Justice versus Yeah Buddy. At least I believe it's that. Hopefully I got that right. Yep, Rough Justice versus Yeah Buddy. Over our first showing matches, we will have Hanggu Pass with List Royale defending, and then we will have Hao Jing with Story Enjoyers defending. I don't think I changed the logos. Alright, is that done? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. 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 Alright. By the time you hear this message, there will be ads playing. But that's okay. I'll wait till ads start because they do a 3-minute. Can't. Hello. I don't want to start going over the spiel of everything while ads are going, so you're going to be waiting a little bit of time here. Welcome everyone, I am the caster, the Furious D. If you do not like to watch this on Twitch, you can watch this on YouTube as well. It should just be searching up the First Blade tournament. My YouTube is just the Furious D. I do not have the E on YouTube, so there is that. So you should be able to find it fairly easily, hopefully fairly easily. If you do need a link, I could give a link as well. I guess I could provide that now for those that want it. However, I'm not going to I just want you over here on Twitch, honestly, because then I get ad money, which is good for me. Anyways, as we continue on, waiting for our match to start. Still have a minute before the ads start. I am stalling this as long as I can. Kitty gut. Make kitty gut. Hopefully the ads won't start during the match, but considering there's only 4 of story enjoyers on attack right now, I think we'll be a-okay. I love how Twitch is calling my bitrate unstable. I don't really know how to make it stable though. Should be stable. I think I'm stable. Hold on, let me look. Yeah, I'm stable. Alright, well, ads are starting now, so let us go over the picks and bans now that the ads with the 3-minute delay. I run 3 minutes ads. It should be over by the time we go over this. It's going to be the List Royale versus Story Enjoyers. We have a Poleaxe and a Musket ban. We have a save of Modal and Chariot. The Chariot save is a little interesting here because I don't think any team is really going to ban Chariot. So having Chariot as one of your saves is definitely an interesting save. I don't know if I would do it, considering I don't think anyone's going to ban Chariot, but it is still an interesting save. And then from our bans, left or right, we have Flames, Liaos, Cudeliers, Zealots, Demence Arbalists, and Shenji Grenadiers. The Shenji is a little bit weird here. I don't see either of these maps being necessarily amazing for Shenji. But then again, I don't think either of these maps are that great for any specialty. I mean, Haojing is probably a little bit more favored towards like cannons and more favored towards specialty than Hanggu Pass. Hanggu Pass being a very open, more cavalry brawl, where Haojing is a little bit tighter in its map, so it'll be a little bit harder for specialty to get value besides those like Hellion Militia that we all love and enjoy. The Liao and Cudelier band is very understandable. These on Hanggu Pass, you know, Cav is going to be very oppressive, so banning the Liaos from going through you and the very cheap Cudeliers from going through you will help List Royale a lot in their defense of Hanggu Pass. I do wonder how they're going to defend Hanggu Pass. We have seen a few different ways of how people do defend it. And it's gone a little bit astray everywhere. It does seem like most of the time defending a point on Hanggu is the way to go. But it does seem like that can also be a little bit of a backfire when the Treb is very strong on that map. The Zealot ban is understandable. Not many people want to deal with Zealots. I think that is just a very strong unit that a lot of people value in its attacks and its abilities. Very good shield breaker. Stalwarts are available, you know, all our shields are available, so Zealots as usual. You don't want to go against Zealots when you're doing like a more shield heavy comp. So maybe Story Enjoyers will be playing a little bit slower of a comp, but they did ban Arbalists. I do see why you would ban Arbalists if you are saving Chariot. Definitely saving Chariot means that the enemy is going to assume that you're going to be running a Chariot. So Nutella is fruity. Nutella is something else, let me tell you. That man is the craziest person alive. I don't know what it is about him. I'm gonna say he is potentially fruity. He might be a little bit of a cherry. As we go into our first match here, we do have the bell toll as it will be List Royale versus Story Enjoyers. I have to move their logos because I never get it right the first time. Because why would I? Once again, Hanggu Pass, Story Enjoyers on attack here. Doesn't look like they're bringing the Chariot for Hanggu Pass. A little bit of a disappointing situation here. I would have loved to see a Chariot on Hanggu Pass. This would be like a pretty alright map for Chariot. Even with the save, I would say we bring it, but Bliss Royale bringing 2 cannons on Hanggu? Are we having a home hold? Are we giving A hold homing? There is only 2 towers, so the cannons being played would be very good. They would guarantee a tower doesn't land, but there's 2 gates to defend, and while those gate hallways are very long, so it's very easy to figure out which pass they are going through, and even better for cannons to play in there, it's a little weird that we're playing 2 cannons. I'm wondering what Bliss Royale is kind of thinking here with the double cannon play. Really no specialty coming out of Story Enjoyers, Coco's obviously, but nothing else that is striking me as not out of the ordinary. As we go into this first matchup, I'm a little concerned of what Bliss Royale has cooking. Well, Bliss Royale's cooking here. There is, you know, those 2 cannons might do some great things, but they also might be a little bit of troll. Once again, the game is going to lag quite a bit here as we go in. Also, once again, for those who don't know, we are also live on YouTube. If you want to view this on YouTube, The Furious D without the E on YouTube. If you need the link because you can't find it, I will gladly give the link. As we go into our first matchup, immediate rush from Story Enjoyers down the mid. Does look like Bliss Royale will be defending the auxiliary point, this fort point. It does look like we have a Iron Cap Archer pulled, or at least some Archer pulled. I don't know where it is. It is Vipers. Of course it's Vipers. Iron Cap Archers at this stage would be really weird, but you know, it's as Story Enjoyers is being very fast here, going up the right side of the point. Looks like our first engagement will be coming out here a little bit extension. We will be fighting on the stairs. Bliss Royale does meet them on the stairs. Coco's aiming a little bit too far from Bliss Royale. They do have Story Enjoyers as the Cudeliers trying to charge. That wasn't Cudeliers, that was probably Yeoman charging straight through, making a massive hole in Bliss Royale's front line as they continue on going straight through Bliss Royale. The cannons are played, but it doesn't look like the cannons even got to fire once for Bliss Royale, as they just got absolutely steamrolled. Story Enjoyers steamrolled straight through Bliss Royale, and Bliss Royale has absolutely no chance of recovering this. They do have the supply block, Story Enjoyers supply block as well, as they continue on with their momentum straight onto the A point. Again, still losing more and more players. Bliss Royale just getting absolutely rolled over. And Story Enjoyers already getting an auxiliary point, already getting A. The AI Halberd Elite unfortunately not doing anything there. We're already at home point, and I'm a little concerned what Bliss Royale will do here. Unit trade once Story Enjoyers ahead by 200 units, which is understandable after that first trade. Bliss Royale's going to have to do quite a lot here to make up for that trade. There is, you know, they do have the fort's artillery to use here, and they do have a ballista, some cannons, but now all the cav that Story Enjoyers brought is kind of useless, right? You can't get the cav on the walls. However, the cav can do supply blocking things, as Bliss Royale does not have any supply back here besides the one that is out of their spawn. So it will be a little bit interesting for Bliss Royale if they do not keep the cav outside of their gates. But again, Story Enjoyers would have to use their cav to just simply supply block. and they wouldn't really be able to get much value besides supply blocking. Do have some artillery coming out. Maybe this is part of Lys Royale's plan, but I don't know if I would give up my one of my 2 cannon units to do this.
Our artillery is completed.
The damn garrison does go down. Lys Royale loses their damn guy. Oh well. It does look like they are doing some tower denial. It does look like Lys Royale did plan for this, realizing they didn't want to defend A at all. They have the javelins, they have the culverins to be shooting down these towers, already getting this close tower down to 1 HP. Hopefully nobody shoots it early, and unfortunately it does look like it was not communicated that the close tower here, the right tower, was at 1 HP and it will be destroyed. Now let's see if the far tower will suffer the same fate, down to 1 HP. So let's see how close it gets, and they will destroy it again very early. As you can see by the debris there, the tower didn't really move that far forward, so it's a little confusing, especially with 11 minutes remaining. You know, we've used a lot of our artillery. It looks like our javelins are actually going back as well, losing most of our javelins, losing a lot of our artillery. It's going to be very hard for Lys Royale to be defending this. They still do have a cannon unit remaining, so there is that to look forward to, but once again, these towers might get pretty close here. It looks like Story Enjoyers is okay with waiting. They do have, 10.5 minutes to be able to break down this area. They do have Lys Royale having the short bow. Looks like we have the arrow rain onto the back 3 culverins. Unfortunately, because the arrow rain is piercing damage, will not break any, but we do have the Bastard Sword of Frost actually breaking all 3 of the culverins. As I go into a little bit of a lag spike there, I might have to restart my game. I have been having more and more lag spikes. Hopefully that doesn't affect the stream. I haven't dropped any frames, so that's okay. It does look like the right battering ram will be breaking. Actually, the right and the left gate have been broken, so we will see if Story Enjoyers will be going through the gate here as we wait a little bit longer to see how this goes in. I have a little bit of, I think that is Yeoman, that is Dagger Axe there. It's so hard for me to tell from just like these pictures, because like it all looks the same. The Dagger Axe and the Cooliers, the Dagger Axe and the Yeoman. We do have a Rattan climb here from Story Enjoyers. The Wuxing Pikemen will meet the Rattan climb, so the Wuxing will deal with the Rat climb very easily, no problem whatsoever here. Though it does look like the Wuxing actually do lose out. Unfortunately, a Rattan Pike and Round Shields just doing a little bit too much damage. They get the bleed in. The Wuxing are not being axed in to do their 2. Looks like we are bringing another Wuxing over to deal with it, but now we are losing 2 Wuxing Pikemen, and we're still struggling to deal with these Rat Pikes. We will get them down now, but we lost 1 unit of Wuxing, and now another is down to 31 models, and probably also fairly low on health, as another Rat climb is happening over here, but the Spartans will meet it and be able to tank it down. It does look like Story Enjoyers is going through the gate as they go straight to supply, realizing that this is the only way for Lys Royale to get another unit. And also Story Enjoyer is really just having the cav, so might as well use your cav on the field. So I do have a gate push. They did have the towers land. Lys Royale no longer having a supply to pull from. Trebuchet on their formation. Hopefully they get out of the direction, but it does look like these stalwarts unfortunately just did not get the memo and will immediately go down to the Treb and the follow-up from Story Enjoyers. So we go in this, the other shoots a Dinger healing from any damage that did happen there. Lys Royale holding behind the point. Whether the engagement happen will happen in front or behind. It does look like we are doing a little bit of a split. We're doing a little bit of a split here of how the engagement is. There's a trap on the front of the A point, the home point there. So it does look like Story sent their weak side to the left, really engaging on that right side behind the point. Does look like the left is falling back as they do wrap around. Their strong side did beat out Lys Royale as Story Enjoyers goes straight through and is actually going back at Rapid. It's going to be very hard for me to be able to see all the things that are going on here. Story Enjoyers is immediately wrapping around, and Lys Royale down to 6 heroes, just doesn't have anything left on the point. It's going to be very hard for Lys Royale to get back on here. Story Enjoyers just has the entire point under their control, with Lys Royale down to 3 heroes, dying that first time during that auxiliary point, that forward point. Unfortunately, now we are at the point where they just do not are respawning fast enough to catch back up. They are respawning now, so they will be attempting to get back into the point, but there is really no hope. There was a little bit of spear sergeants on that home point that is stalling. Amazing 2 models of spear sergeants going. Unfortunately, this is a split fight, so I will not be able to zoom in much for you guys to be able to see really what's going on, and it's going to look a little bit laggy here, but that's how we are going. We have 4 Story Enjoyers on the left side defending there, but we only have 3 on the right side. And it looks like Lys Royale is actually barely clawing their way back into this, getting the heroes just on point. The short bow trying to dance does fall off the wall and will die to fall damage there. Unfortunate there from the short bow. Well, down to 3/4 cap. Lys Royale has to get onto this point really quick. They're trying to stall as long as possible. We have a DB on point. A short sword down, gets on the point, pops Iron Sights, buys them a little bit of time. But if they don't get any units here, as long as you can stall, who cares? No units means you will eventually lose this point, especially with 5.5 minutes remaining. I'll zoom in a little bit closer here because it seems like they are fighting a little bit off the point here. As you can see, Lys Royale just doesn't have the units. They are trying to get as much value as stall as possible here, but they will not be able to hold the point. As we go into this, stats for nerds, amazing by Jamar the Bomber, 199 unit kills, crazy amount. I thought I saw something low, but it wasn't there. Okay, stats for nerds, you know, if you're a nerd, here's your stats. Thumbs up from all of our players. Great showing by Story Enjoyers winning the first match, really showing that they are still a strong team, even with what happened last week being a little bit probably of a morale killer. Good try by Lys Royale, first match. It just didn't seem like their plan worked as well as they would have liked to. You know, it just it happens, you know. Yeah, maybe I think their plan was to defend the home point, which they did try to do, but if you let them into that supply area and get their supply, really, what can you do at that point? Like, you've lost your supply, you can no longer pull. If you don't win the fight, you're just out of units, and now the enemy is going to respawn and come back on the tower, and since you lost the first fight, it's going to be very hard for you to reinforce. As we wait for the next matchup to begin. What's the password again? Okay. As we wait for the next matchup to be happening here, I could actually go to my YouTube broadcast, because this will be a little bit easier for me to like go back on. Let us go into the post-match screen here. Get chat out of here. Yep, okay. As we go to our post-match, how the fight went down, it did seem like Lys Royale was expecting Story Enjoyers to go left here. As you can see, most of Lys Royale's units are over here, a little bit far from the point. And I think Story Enjoyers saw that from Lys Royale. I was like, alright, we see they're far away from point. We're going to speed run onto the point, you know, get out of their setup, and so you can see they very quickly go here. And all Lys Royale has here to really stop it is one stalwart unit and a Modal. And when you're dealing with a blob of that size now running into you, yeah, the stalwart's going to hold a little bit, but it's not going to stop the absolute onslaught. Our Wuxing pikemen go in, but you also see here from Story Enjoyers, they didn't bring that much greens. Like there's a round shield in there, yeah, but there's only one. And like Wuxing still do great damage, but they're nothing compared to, you know, other options in the blob. A little bit troll of our two stalwarts over here as we go back a little bit. Looks like our stalwarts just didn't get the memo to go in and really stop this blob from happening. They do position and they do get in now, but at this point it is too little too late. As you can see, the cav, I believe I already missed it because my cat went on my computer there. As you can see, the hole has already been made. We have our yeoman, I believe that's yeoman over there, coming in. And while there is anti-cav here, you can see it moving, and then it gets Treb. So amazing timing getting in there by the time the Treb is landing, so none of the anti-cav was able to do anything here. An amazing cav plays by Story Enjoyers, getting that cav in and around. I don't believe Lys Royale's cannons even shot once. Let's go back just to double check. Yeah, I'm not seeing the cannons fire once here. I don't know if they even got them built. It does look like they got them built, but they just were not able to fire and get the value they could have. Story Enjoyers just played it too fast for cannons to be able to be played there. Lys Royale was just a little bit too slow. Maybe the cannons just were not the play there. Maybe they could have ran Falconetti. Realizing that their cannons would get dove instantly. It is very hard to defend cannons on this point. It's so open and wide. You know, your cannons, as soon as the enemy sees them getting built, they're just going to get dove anyways. So really, you're just down a unit trying to get some value. I would be impressed if that cannon actually got any shots off. Let's see who actually was the cannon player, and we could go over his stats later on. It looks like it was Shlamon. So Shlamon. As we go into there, it's just amazing snowball by Story Enjoyers, realizing they could get A here for free after that amazing push there. Then we go into the tower denial phase. You know, nothing really to be said here. I think the towers got destroyed a little bit too early. I think Lys Royale is doing too much. Like, it's a really hard thing to do. I think they're just doing too much damage to the towers to the point where Story Enjoyers sees their towers are at 1 HP, and they then break their own towers, because I'm not going to let my tower get to 1 HP and then let you just sit there with it. I'm going to instead break my own tower. So amazing plays by Story Enjoyers there. Let's see if they actually do shoot, if there's any cannonballs coming from the right there. Waiting. I don't think so. What hit this? It did look like a Lys Royale culverin did shoot it, so that's a little bit of misplay by Lys Royale. Now there is mortars here, so a mortar would have been able to shoot the tower in case like anything happened, but that's a little bit of a misplay by Lys Royale there. Let's check this tower. A little bit more focus on this tower. I think I should have been my camera angle a little bit more facing Lys Royale rather than this side angle. I can't really tell what happened over here. Yeah, I'm just too far away camera wise to see if there's a projectile there. Standard classic tower defense, right? We all saw what happened there. Whatever. Let's go forward into, I do enjoy this rat climb from story enjoyers. I think this was just to distract Lys Royale, and that was a very good, amazing distraction from story enjoyers to distract Lys Royale to be able to do anything there. I did hear the ding as we go into our second match. We all saw what happened there. So we do not need to go over it. Let's go back over. Story enjoyers is now defending as we do. Real quick, let me just refresh us. The Cooliers are banned, so it's not Cooliers. It's Yeoman or Dagger Axe. It's one of those two. Let's go into Hao Jing with Lys Royale on the attack. Story enjoyers on the defense. Oh, if my mic sounds too loud or is peaking, please tell me. I have my mic closer to me than I did before, so if there's any peaking, please let me know. I will change my mic settings to hopefully not peak and be a little bit more consistent. Sorry, Joyce, once again, we saved Chariot, but I don't see any Chariots. I'm a little upset by story injuries here with the lack of Chariots that I'm seeing. I don't know why they saved Chariots. Maybe a little bit of a troll save, realizing that they really don't care about the saves, saying, alright, we don't care, we're just gonna save a random unit, and Chariot is pretty funny, so we're just saving Chariot there. Could be a play from story enjoyers just to get a save out, maybe do a little bit of mind games on Lys Royale so that they expect a Chariot. Well, not bring anything. Specialty wise, nothing's striking me. I mean, this seems like fairly normal comps, and Lys Royale bringing 2 cannons once again, so nothing crazy out of the ordinary there. I didn't count Cocos because, you know, I just don't count Cocos. I guess I could go back into my YouTube broadcast and check exactly what they brought. Coco value wise, looks like Lys Royale bringing only 1 set of Zycalian Militia compared to story enjoyers bringing story enjoyers bringing 3 Zycalian Militia. So there will be a little bit more Cocos from story enjoyers compared to Lys Royale. Hopefully this is not bite Lys Royale in the butt, but if they play it right, maybe the Cocos will not be as valuable as before. It looks like we might have a I doubt story enjoyers will be selling. This map is pretty hard, I believe, to sell it. There we go. Tribe instantly on the ballista and the cannon. I get some value there as we go back. I got a little bit too far forward, a little bit overzealous. A little bit hard to figure out the camera. Let's look at the unit exchange for melee. Lys Royale up 140 units. Really only up about 100. Great units don't really count. Trev coming in on that cannon spot. Lys Royale doing a good job dealing with the starting artillery here, as they slowly break down the defenses. Why is there HP bars back here? There's stuff to break on this map that's back there? I didn't know that. Pinging around, probably pinging the artillery. Looks like Lys Royale is doing a little bit of climbing here. Maybe trying to see some value there, see if they could go get anything. We wait for the tower to land. Those look like the normal right tower will land here. I don't know how this plays in competitive. I don't know if this is how you'd attack this map. It does look like Bliss Royale will be going up this tower. The Story Droids immediately fades away, realizing that they don't want to defend on the wall. Understandably so. I don't know if you would ever defend on the wall anyways with Breach right there. That rotation is very long for defenders, but very short for attackers. Cooliers are banned Spartamized monster. Let's look like Bliss Royale is instead just setting up on the wall. Maybe do a little bit of an artillery phase here. Story Droids looks like they have most of their units far enough back to where they will not be hit by any of Bliss Royale's artillery. It doesn't look like Bliss Royale is risking anybody going on the other side of the wall, you know, over here to place any artillery to try to snipe these units here. It does look like Story Droids actually goes into the gatehouse, realizing this is also a very safe spot to be. They can't treb in there. The gatehouse is very long. But Bliss Royale going down the tower, down the wall, going to supply, trebbing a little bit preemptively there, a little early to be trebbing as they set up the cannon as well for this supply hold. Does look like Story Droids is not going to pressure them on the supply as we go into the a little bit interesting here for Story Droids. I don't know if this is the play to give up that supply. Again, I haven't seen how this map really plays out. We do have Bliss Royale has a shoots a dinger still on the tower, actually down to 18 models. It seems like they are getting shot by a mortar or something else. Bliss Royale just kind of letting their shoots die there for free. A little bit weird from Bliss Royale. I don't know why they're keeping those two units still on the wall. I think I would tell my shoots a dinger to go down to everybody else. Now down to 9 shoots, so we've basically lost our shoots a dinger. And a push hasn't happened yet. We're just freely losing units to this mortar placement. But Bliss Royale just does not care. Who's our shoots a dinger player? Who are we clowning on here? We're clowning on Quayo. Still alive, so he knows his shoots are getting hit. I guess we just don't care that our shoots are dying. Nodachi, Longsword, and Pastor Sword try to get the rest, and the shoots are dead. There's only one model left. Spartans are still alive, but who cares about our Spartans? Our shoots are dead. As Bliss Royale moves forward into this area. Oh. There's Keftel. Okay. There's Keftel in the back there. Sorry, that just confused me. We do have the cannon set up as Story Droids now pushes into Bliss Royale. A little bit weird of this Natsude line formation stalwarts. Unfortunately, just does not block literally anything. And Story Droids just, again, walks straight through Bliss Royale. Bliss Royale just struggling to hold them back as the cav from Story Droids comes in straight through Bliss Royale, doing big damage. Anti-cav will catch at the end, but at this point, the cav has done their job, and Story Droids is just walking straight through Bliss Royale. Bliss Royale cannot respond whatsoever. Their cannons are dead, all their specialty are gone, and Story Droids will be pushing Bliss Royale out. It does look like we do have Story Droids. Crisp Pad is blocking supply. They will wholly go straight through Bliss Royale, but it does look like Bliss Royale is getting a little bit of back cap there. They do have one person on the A point. But they will be handily dealt with. No back cap progression for you. Black Arena trying to do some damage, trying to get some value, but unfortunately will die out. Remo gets caught a little bit too far forward as well. Will be going down to... Actually, it does look like he is able to escape there. As Story Droid is winning the first engagement by quite a while. Bliss Royale was up 100 units and they are now down 150 units. That's a very rough trade for Bliss Royale. Just didn't have the shoots a dinger. Their shoots a dinger lost really early there, just out of position. But now, going back on the wall, forcing Story Droids to rotate back to the A point. We do have another cannon unit brought out. Hopefully this cannon will be... Hopefully this cannon unit will get a little bit more value. I don't know if the cannons even fired last engagement there. As once again, Lys Royale gets the supply. Surrender is holding, waiting for the engagement to happen from Lys Royale. Doesn't look like Surrender is doing any flank back here. I'm sorry about the minimap size. Hold on. My bad. Let me increase that so that you guys can see any flanks going on while I'm doing communication, doing casting things. Pushing, coming out, Treb a little bit too far, it's close to that wall, might not get the value we want to see. As the engagement goes on, shoots a dinger from Story Enjoyers, shooting maybe a little bit too early there, but now our cannons are up and they are firing into the side of Story Enjoyers, but our cannons wicked. Though it does look like Story Enjoyers is just pushing straight through Lys Royale. Second round of cannon fire does not get in the Cav. Yanya Dows goes straight through Lys Royale. They just did not have the anti-cav to deal with Yanya Dows, as Story Enjoyers once again going clearly straight through Lys Royale, having absolutely no chance of holding them whatsoever. Lys Royale. Wow, it's looking very rough for Lys Royale. Down to 800 versus 1363. It's going to be very hard for them to be able to pull a recovery out of this. Down to 2.5 minutes, so they need to make their push very fast. They might be going through gate, honestly, with how little time they have. I don't know if they have the time to really do another regroup and push from that supply area. It does look like they are going to be heading towards gate. And only one gate is open, so they will be heading towards this close gate, and I hope they really do not fight inside of the gatehouse, as that will be very hard for me to get any actual viewpoint in. But I will prep it by being here. And Surrender is actually having a mortar placed to where they can actually hit there. It does look like... No, Lys Royale is going back. They do have some going into the back. They are back on the wall, realizing maybe they can't go through the gate, but they have to make this wall down push incredibly fast. They aren't getting hit by Rattan Vipers as well, and hit by mortars. They got to be fast as they are running down this wall, going as fast as they can. The ISG trying to collide into the engagement as shields meet shields. Cav going straight. Oh, does get stopped a bit. Oh no, it goes through. It goes through. We got more Cav as it just cleans up house, doing amazing damage. Looks like Lys Royale tried to get a Cav behind Story Enjoyers, just did not get in. Dagger X tried to do something. Unfortunately, the fight is already over, so the Stalwarts and the Modao are able to cleanly rotate and deal with the Cav. No problem whatsoever here, as Story Enjoyers will win 2-0 against Lys Royale. Lys Royale just unfortunately was not able to deal with Story Enjoyers. Story Enjoyers pulling out an amazing victory here, with especially after last week's stomp that they received. Maybe they someone there got a little bit angry at the rest of Story Enjoyers, and they're now performing back up to snuff of where they should be. Ironcap Swordsman trying to kill that longsword. Unfortunately, all the every single one of them got stuck on this stall. Infinite Cav glitch discovered. As trade's going down, 380 to 998. It's looking like some of my ranked games where there's just no hope of winning. You're just like, alright guys, GG, go next. So just F8, let's go to the next one, guys. Just didn't work out. As we go into our stats, start with Lys Royale. What we do is stats here, stats for nerds, for all you people who love these stats and seeing each individual player's damage and how much damage they took. All I'm looking at is damage dealt, and trying to see if I find any funny numbers, as the one time that Nutella Waffles did 12k damage with this hero as a Maul. That's the only funny thing I'm looking for. Unfortunately, now we get to the point where this side, yeah, I mean, Story Enjoyers did really good here. That's for nerds. Here's your chart. As you could see by every single one of the engagements. Like this last engagement, you see the List Royale did a little bit better, but you know, you've lost by so much every single fight here. What can you really do? Like, you've ran out of units to the point where you can't do much. Let's go over the fights of how they went there. As post battle, this next matchup will be taking a while before we go into it. Let me get the bands for the next matchup. We will go over let's go over this last matchup. I believe we have about 15 minutes. Yeah, we have quite a while before our next matchup happens here. 20 minutes about. So we could go over the battle real quick here. Once my YouTube page actually realizes where I'm at. Bing, bang, bop. Display capture. Full screen. Play. Get rid of chat. Let us go over how this went here. A little bit further back, a little bit further back. Okay, not that far back. Let's go over these engagements. List Royale didn't deploy that much artillery. I don't think they deployed that much artillery as we got into this. Maybe relying too much on their cannons. Also not having the front line to really support their cannons. It seemed like they just didn't know how to really take these engagements. Let's see how this first one. They do have paladins, which I think paladins, while are good in their tanking, I don't know how much I value the heal, you know? Especially as we go on to this. Let's see how they go. This looks like they were lacking anti. Also, our Schütze-Dinger, quite simply, never came off this tower. I don't know what List Royale is thinking of having Schütze-Dinger just staying on the tower and not be with the blob here. You can see they just lost their shoots before the fight ever started, which is just so bad. Schütze-Dinger are just such like a monumental, like their healing is insane comparatively speaking to like quite literally everything else. Sorry about that. Alright, I didn't reveal anything. You just saw my DMs with my girlfriend. Congratulations. As we see go into this first engagement, we didn't have any Schütze-Dinger, right? No Schütze-Dinger. Our Kevtal are doing Kevtal things, whatever the hell they're doing. I don't know what they're doing here. Going into our frontline battle, right? I don't think I get a good showing of what they have here. Let's go. Let's see if I get a good showing of what their front line is. As I see our front line, right? Our front line is 1, 2, 3 shields. We got a Reaper. We have a Paladin. Like we have 3 shield units. And our shield unit doesn't even like do square. Our stalwarts do a line formation. Whack. And we have two other stalwarts here. Paladins are okay, but you know what's coming. So like, we only have the 1 phalanx. I think I would have loved to see them deploy a little bit further back. Let me get my drawing program out. Once it loads. Hold on. There we go. I would love to see them defend back here. Oh, hold on, let me get it in red. I would love to see them defend back here, you know, instead of up here, so that it's a little bit easier for our cannons to defend and shoot, you know, into this, rather than having to shoot, you know, this and this. Now they only need to shoot, you know, this area. So with this split so far forward, our cannons shoot right, which is Like, there's nothing really over here to shoot. I don't know what we're shooting at. Yeah, there's a Spartan and a Stalwart, but like, look at what's in front of us. There's a Spartan, double Modal, another Stalwart coming in. There's so much more value shooting left, but whatever. Got our first shot off. These shields, where are we going? Where are we going, boys? There is a death ball right here. You are our only shields, and you're saying, yeah, I'm gonna go deal with this. Little confusing there. As you can see, it goes on. Like, Storinger just walks into this hole. There's just this hole generated right here. That Storinger is like, okay, you made me space. I'm gonna go take it. I don't think the cannons do shoot again, so we got 2 shots off from our cannons at this point. Unfortunately, at this point there, you could see they just didn't have the anti-cav to really deal with them. We have late stalwarts coming in. We only had, you know, this one phalanx and Modal, but the shields are already in the phalanx, and our phalanx is too far forward. Our Modal are getting engaged. All of our anti-cavs getting engaged. Actually, I think our Modal went forward into them. And with only having 2 anti-cav units, you could see how this cav just really creates a massive hole in Lys Royale's defenses, and they just get ran over from there. Unfortunately, our cav just didn't go over. You guys can clip, guys, I don't care what you see, that there's nothing there. As we go into this engagement going on, let me move this out of here. As we go on, let me just see if the lobby has been built yet. It has not been built. As we go on, Storinger is pushing out Rosalian, right? We saw what happened. They just do amazing cleanup as we go into our second engagement. Once again, Lys Royale bringing the cannons yet again. Different person, different outcome. We saw they maybe realized their mistake on that first push. And now, as you see by their attack this time, they play their cannons a little bit further back. But once again, we're running into the issue. You saw it there. But we only have 2 anti-cav. It's a Modal and a Phalanx. Now, the Stalwarts go in, right? Let's go in. We have a little bit of a space here. Don't know why we're just leaving that gap open, but we do. It's okay. Actually, our shields just don't engage this. They take a while to engage into that. Oh god, it's so sad, guys. I need to be able to stream it like 4K. And like 10K bitrate. As you see by how this engagement went, right? Our shields are... Bruh. What? Alright, as you see, like, our shields just are too far out and create this gap for Story Enjoyers to just fill in. And by the time that our shields realize, hey, we're out of position, and they rotate down here, now Story Enjoyers goes on to the right and just goes into them. And the cav... I don't know where our anti-cav isn't in this engagement. One of our anti-cavs is we have a Phalanx AFK back here. We have a Phalanx, I think, that was out of position up here. So we have 2 Phalanx, and both of our Phalanx just isn't in the right spot to be able to deal with the cav. As you can see, it just goes straight through. And while this is a better spot for our cannons to defend and, you know, fire upon the enemy, that doesn't matter because we just don't our anti-cav is not playing the game. In fact, I think our anti-cav actually unbraced there. See, they're braced there, braced there, braced there, unbraced. Uh-oh, Yanya Dao. And List Royale just isn't playing their anti-cav at all. Just going straight through. And Story Droids just takes this amazing opportunity of List Royale just doesn't have. List Royale just isn't playing anti-cav into them. Anti-cav like very good at all, bringing a lack of anti-cav there. It just wasn't able to do the value. And now this is just a panic rush at the end here. Once again, sorry for the bad quality. This is just don't have the processors to run 4K streaming with 20K bitrate. A little bit interesting here. They actually did this engagement pretty well, but I don't think anybody goes onto the ball boys. And once again, no anti-cav, cav spam. It just goes through. We have one modal. I think I saw one modal in there, but you know, 5 units, I think 6 units of cav later. Who cares? Didn't work. They cleaned it up. This stalwart player cleans up the rest of the cav that comes in, and we have IOI doing amazing modal work guarding the flank as well. So just amazing plays by Story Enjoyers, knowing how to do these blob fights just better than List Royale. List Royale just playing a little bit too spread. Maybe he got a little bit too cocky from their other matchups. Well, this is the big league. Story Enjoyers knows how to play the game. Well, 90% of them. I don't know about one of them, but you know, they know how to play the game enough to where List Royale just unfortunately was not able to go into any of the weaknesses of Story Enjoyers. They just made too many mistakes and went down there. Mom needs to stop inviting me. As we go into our next matchup of Yeah Buddy versus Rough Justice here. Let me bring up the bands, and I will be changing my title and all that so everyone can look at that while I'm going through that. There's Yeah Buddy. Unfortunately, that means that you guys will see the title change before we actually get to it, because I have 3-minute delay. So L. Right, I need to get their logos. Justice. Yeah, buddy. Alright. As we go into this matchup of this best of 5, we will be having, let me get this up so I can see a little bit better. We will be having Rough Justice defending Empyrean Sands Reginopolis, with Yeah Buddy defending Allenberg and Border Fort Redux. We have a bands of Bastard Sword and Poleaxe, so no damage reduction classes. Damage reduction classes coming out from either side. No weapon dance, no Bastard Sword ult, so the units will be doing their full damage here. And Bastard Sword just, you know, we just don't like Bastard Sword around here. As regards to saving the Rat Pikes and the Couteliers, neither of these maps are that great for Cav, so I'm a little confused by our Cav bat save there. But we have bands of Ratan Vipers, Liao Rangers, I believe that is Dagger Axe Lancers, Phalanx, Shenji, and Modal. A little bit interesting here. Yeah Buddy banning the gold anti-cav. So I'm wondering how that will really pan out for either team no longer having the gold anti-cav. Maybe we will be seeing a little bit more cav be brought out by both teams when they, you know, when there's no anti-cav in there. What the hell is happening in the Discord chat of the house I'm in? Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted. I wanted to scroll to the bottom of this chat and post stream so that these guys can see it. Unfortunately, they're doing dumb shit. Okay. Where was I? Anyways, gold anti-cav banned from. Yeah, buddy. So, I haven't joined the lobby. Guys, I'm trolling. Oh. There we go. Just did a little bit of trolling there. Alright. As we go into this, I'm a little interested in how these maps really will go. None of them are necessarily cav heavy. Maybe Border Fort Redux being the best map for cav. Empyrean does have decent like cav lanes, but it's not very open, so you will see the cav from decently far away. But there is the bans of Liao's and Dagger-X. Dagger-X ban is interesting, to say the least there. Dagger-X being a pretty good cav, but we are keeping quite a few of our Lancer cavs alive. I'm wondering if we will see any monastics or hussars with when there is no gold anti-cav to stop them. Maybe even seeing some of the other old gold cav be used like Yanyadao or Zwanji, as they will still be able to do those great blob clearing abilities, especially with no gold anti-cav, only really having to worry about purple anti-cav. And while there is the good old Fort of Braccio available for Baltinas, and they do have blue halbs, these aren't going to be the greatest answer for potentially the cav spam that's coming out here. Especially IPGs, well, will be able to catch the cav. Once that walks over, it's going to be a little bit hard. And Fort Braccio's, well, they're 40s. They do the job, but they don't do the job well enough for you to be happy about it. Shenji ban makes sense. Shenji on Reggie is just insane. If you're attacking Reggie and Shenjis are available, you're just going to get farmed by Shenjis. So, makes sense there, knowing that they are attacking Reggie. Also, Empyrean Sands, I think, also is decently good for Shenji. Attacking Allenberg. If you're defending Allenberg, it's not that crazy to have Shenji. It is a wall. It's a tower destruction map, so Shenji aren't that valuable. It's small gate. I mean, they're okay, but I think other units would be good. Border Fort. When defending Border Fort, you might defend on the floor, which might make Shenji a little bit stronger. So I guess it makes sense there. And then cav bans make sense, and then Rat Viper ban makes sense as well. People just are very annoyed by Rattan Vipers and their ability to do massive damage. Unfortunately, the only thing that can cleanse the poison from Rattan Vipers is permabanned for lagging the game. Unfortunately. Though, if surfs were allowed, I think those Vipers would have a lot less value. Maybe what else would be good there? This will be a while before we get into our matchup here. It is scheduled, by the time you hear this, is scheduled to be now. But for me, it's in 3 minutes. It doesn't look like Rough Justice is in yet. So we will be taking some time to go in here. I believe Yeah Buddy was predicted to win this matchup here. Yes. People do believe that Riebody is predicted to win this. I don't know. Reggie is an incredibly hard map to beat in attack. Empyrean Sands, I'm not too for sure of. It could go quite either way there. I don't know if it's defender sided or attacker sided. I just simply haven't seen it enough to know exactly how it goes. Allenberg is for sure defender sided and really easy map to defend. I've only seen it lost once. Yeah, I've only seen it lost once, and that was unfortunately due to somebody falling off a wall. GG easy, that guy shouldn't have fallen off a wall. Border Fort Redux, I think that goes, that's a little bit more 50-50. So both sides have their good defender favored maps of Reginopolis and Allenberg, so this really will be going down to Empyrean Sands and Border Fort Redux. We might be able to be lucky enough to get to our last map, and then we might even get a tiebreaker going into the Wuxing Plains. But who knows exactly how that will go. I do think this will be a little bit close, especially with the gold anti-cav band. I guess defending Allenberg would be a little bit harder if you can't have the anti-cav block it, but I think Fort Brashear would still be able to do amazing things even with gold anti-cav band. Even considering they're purple anti-cav. But this gate's so small, they should still be able to get it. But Spartans are still available, so who knows exactly how that will go. Look, ads are going. Guys, I forgot to keep track of my ads. There we go. Alright, pull those ads. Let's go. Alright, as we go to our grand finals. Looks like the lobby is filling up. It is 14 versus 13, so this match will be starting shortly. Hopefully. Hopefully shortly. Maybe a little bit longer. Unfortunately, I have really nothing more to talk about and how this will go. Unfortunately, guys, I too much. Guys, hurry up. Looks like we will be starting soon here. Unfortunately, we went into a dead zone because I couldn't figure out what to call. I've expected this match to start, 2 minutes ago. I had all the commentary for like all the things, and then we just a little bit delayed. Unfortunately, I had a solo commentator, and I lost my entire train of thought as we wait for the match to start. Guys, please, I just want to get into the game, because yeah, I got nothing. Nothing at all. Quite literally, can't talk about anything. I've yapped my heart out, and now we're just waiting for the bell to toll and tell us to get into the match. It should be starting relatively shortly here. Both sides are 15 versus 15. I'm a little concerned about how this go. Hopefully, there we go. The bell does toll. We will be going into our matchup here of Rough Justice versus Yeah Buddy. Bang. Hopefully I got these icons on the right side, otherwise I have to move the— God damn it! Every single time I get the side on the wrong fucking side. Whatever. Imperial Sands defense of Justice. It's a Canonical anti-cav. Does look like we are bringing a decent amount of cav, knowing that there is Cataphract Lancers brought by Yeah Buddy. Interesting choice there by Yeah Buddy. Interesting choice by Yeah Buddy, bringing 2 caddies. I think caddies are going to be good, as there is no gold anti-cav, but look like, yeah, Rough Justice is bringing a Monastic Knight as well in there. Specialty wise, 1, 2, 3, 4 Cocos to 1, 2, 3 Cocos. A Helot Auxiliary by Yeah Buddy as well. I do enjoy having Helots in there for them, getting that 20% movement speed and 20% damage mitigation for 8 seconds is incredibly powerful for those 8 seconds that you do have it. Go ahead. First matchup. First match. Yeah Buddy versus Rough Justice. Where am I? Here. Immediately trebbing the breach. Probably a smart idea. I don't know how valuable trebs are on this map, so see how it goes. I do see some halbs being brought by Rough Justice. Are they blue or are they purple? I wasn't paying too much attention with halbs. And then I just missed their page like 3 times in a row. Halbs sergeants there. Good docs. Pretty good docs. I like it. Piercing defense is a little interesting on them. I don't know if I would want piercing defense on them, but I guess it works, right? It does what you want it to do for the units as we go into the rest of the units. I mean, everyone's bringing pretty good doctrines. If you want to actually go look at those doctrines, go to the YouTube page and go at it by like a 1 frame by 1 frame. I'm not spending any more than like 1 second unless I see something like crazy outrageous by either side. Do have the shoot stingers. Will Rough Justice did I lose my Q and E? I did lose my Q and E, bitch. I hate losing Q and E. Also, like, no mercy pins. Maybe a little bit confused as to what we're doing. No, Rough Justice now coming in to the breach here. Actually, Rough Justice now finally getting to the breach, but just maybe a little bit too late, as Yeah Buddy goes in, Coolio charge tries to go through, but it's not making it. Another respond Coolio. God, that was like frame by frame. Yeoman charge there did not get any value. Another winged Hussar charge coming from the left goes straight through the backline. Unfortunately, most of Yeah Buddy has moved past that alleyway as they push into Rough Justice. Going to the engagement here a little bit into this corner. It does look like Rough Justice is able to hold in that area. A little bit framey here. It does look like the servers are struggling to keep up with these units. Cooliers coming through the side will get a charge in, but does not get any value. The stalwarts will hold. The halberd sergeants will hold as well. We are still fighting in this corner. I don't know really exactly where we're fighting. It looks like we're trying to get some value there. I'm going to increase my minimap size so you guys can see what's exactly going on. No! Rough Justice is still holding in this corner, but it's only units remaining. No heroes are there. It does look like Rough Justice is forced to go back to home. Unit trade. In favor of Rough Justice. Maybe more in favor of Yeah Buddy there. Winning A already. It's a little rough for Rough Justice losing A already. It just doesn't seem like they got the double pulls off or anything. It seemed like Yeah Buddy got their foothold in, kept the units AFK fighting, went to double pull, and then sent people off to the supplies to block the supplies. Sorry that I had the minimap small there. Hopefully now it will be big enough to where we could see flanks, but at this point, who cares? Trebs being broken. Those two Trebs there down to a quarter HP, now down to 1 HP. It does look like it's only those left Trebs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're not breaking the Trebs, but it's going to take them a while. They do break one of the Trebs, working on that second Treb now. It's pretty far away, so hopefully Rough Justice knows the angle. It gets it dealt with soon, but there goes 1 HP and it is gone. Now they are working on that left Treb. It is down to below half. It's good of them to spend their artillery here on denying Trebs. Realizing that at this point their home point is very easily mortable and easily trebable. So getting these Trebs out of the way will hopefully make their defense a little bit easier. Stalwart's kind of AFK there. Does look like they are able to get out before the Treb fully connects there. It doesn't look like they're able to get that leftmost Treb destroyed as we go into me. But yeah, a little bit pokey with the ISG, a little bit far forward. Treb going in there. Okay, let's get an angle here so we can see both these Trebs HP. Uber Eats from Rough Justice goes down, maybe a little bit of overextending there. Don't know exactly what happened. Did not happen on screen. I believe they did break that left Treb, so Rough Justice has now broken 3 Trebs. Down to the last middle Treb that they could possibly break down to half HP. The other 3 Trebs at full HP. Probably will live just fine. Murder phase from Yeah Buddy doing good damage, but it does look like they are now walking in here. Doing a triumphant Trev there. We'll walk forward immediately onto this point as the engagement goes on. Rough Justice tries to get some stall in there, but the Yanya Downs from Yeah Buddy goes straight through there, shoots a dinger, but they have a return Yeoman Hussar charge that goes straight through, but it's not get as enough cleanup as we want. Kind of hard to figure out what's happening. Yanya out in as well, gets the rest of the unit cleanup. As now the Cav has lost a lot of his steam. There's still Yanya down running around, trying to get some value in this. Just stalwarts on the point from Rough Justice, trying to hold on as long as they can, but Yeah Buddy just kind of steamrolling through them. And Rough Justice now going to be in a little bit of a pickle here. Monastics coming onto the point, charging in. Does look like the IPGs stop most of them, but they will continue charging through. IPG did stop the charge, but they Monastics got their charge back and was able to continue charging through. And then Rough Justice needs to get some infantry onto this fight. They got a short sword blocking it. Coutelier tries to get in, but it does look like it finishes charging and went into V mode. Another Coutelier charge tries. It does look like the Yanya Dao was able to stop it. As the fight continues raging on, it looks like the right staircase, the ISG is holding Rough Justice back as far as possible. Cavaliers almost sniped the Glaive player there. We'll get another side charge in there. We still have Reapers from Yeah Buddy on this point, holding as long as possible. Rough Justice yeeting a shit ton of Cavaliers there. Panic Cavaliers does clean up the point, but now there's nobody on the point, just this Glaive player gaining some back cap progression. Nobody really responding on that. He will get off the point for some reason. We had free cap progress there, but now he gets off. Maybe go pull a unit there. A little bit of fighting happy on the right. Rough Justice again, sending Cavaliers down everywhere. Tev flying everywhere. Raton Pikes now guarding that left staircase. Sippy, he's trying to do something, stall out a little bit there. Arbalest on the stairs get dove by the Nodachi player. Rough Justice now breaking out of their spawn, having their own Rat Pikes, Stalwarts, and even an Orochi to defend. Cudalier tries to go through them, but the Stalwarts will catch the Cudalier charge, as now we are going to a little bit of a recovery phase here. I don't think I could ever get low enough to see. Okay, I can, but that's way too low at this point. Rough Justice defending point, but we're now down to 600 versus 500. We're just having a lot of greens left. But Yeah Buddy might have the Wuxing to deal with all these greens. I don't think they brought any Wuxing. There's two Wuxing out of here. We also have the Cataphract Lancers by Yeah Buddy as they resume their artillery phase. Down to 500 versus 600 here. Fairly close here, but Buddy having a little bit more units, maybe the little bit more Wuxing will be able to solve the green spam for them. They really need to guard their Wuxing here, and they'll probably get some good value. Let's see, she slowly walk forward with the Stalwarts, going up this main staircase once again. The musket getting a little bit of stat pad, farming the damage, you know. Gotta stat pad our damage. The ISG will heal it off. Yeah, the Stalwarts do take the damage there. I actually have their natural healing, so they will be just fine. They don't really care too much about a Caltrop. So like they are walking forward here. Line formation as the engagement as we start our engagement happening in here. A little bit gonna be the Cataphract Lancers try to get in and do some damage. Looks like they actually get in through the rear and find some of the Cocos, but not enough of them. And it looks like Rough Justice is actually pushing back into Yeah Buddy. Yeah Buddy not having the units to really hold them back. They just never got their Wuxing into engage the Ratons as Rough Justice pushes Yeah Buddy straight down the stairs, right back into their spawn. Yeah Buddy unfortunately not able to hold back Rough Justice's assault there. A little bit of a lag spike there as we go in, but Rough Justice now we're down to 6 minutes 45 seconds. Yeah Buddy getting a Cudalier charge through the back, but there's nothing there for them to hit, and the Arbalest will kill the rest of the Cudaliers along with the Halbs. And we're down to 200 versus 299. Looking pretty bad for Yeah Buddy here. Then it does look like they are leaving the match as well. Let's go over the deaths here. There is 3 of them, and their last 3 of them out of the fight. Where Rough Justice having only having 1 person out of the fight and 2 people on last life compared to Yeah Buddy. Looks like Yeah Buddy quite a little bit too aggressive there as I was looking at stats. Let's see who is left. That's maybe going to bring them a little bit closer into out of the fight. They have 1 person on the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 7 people on last life. 3 people out of the fight. It's gonna be. Oops, sorry about that. I accidentally pulled the cord on my mic. It's gonna be very hard for Yeah Buddy to be able to recover from this state. It's looking pretty low on units, low on heroes. Their artillery looks like that. Longsword getting caught out again. Yeah, buddy, just out of position, going a little bit too far forward. It doesn't look like they are actually responding to that out of position, try to catch something. But unfortunately, that Rough Justice does pull back, not able to kill anybody. But again, losing another, maybe losing the Maul here. Winkrow will go down again. A little bit of an overextension by Yeah Buddy as they now engage here. But Rough Justice has 2 musket players bombing down onto Yeah Buddy. So Yeah Buddy's units are basically gone already. The double musket bombs, the double fire, caltrops, all the throwables going in. Yeah Buddy down to no units. And while there is 4 minutes remaining, they just did not have the steam left in the engine to be able to continue this fight. This is Rough Justice now sallies out. It was a very interesting. This was a very interesting first match here. I did think Yeah Buddy would be able to win, considering how fast they won that A point. Only 1 fight needed for it, and it did look really bad for Rough Justice there. But Rough Justice was able to turn the tides, regain their footing, and be able to turn the tables. And I do not have the vocabulary for this. Able to turn the tables and regain their footing onto the home point and claim their space back and route Yeah Buddy out of the home engagement. Going to stats for nerds. Soldier Heavy MVP probably killing not that many rats there, only a few, but you see most of his things did get 20 of the Coco, so he did get both full sets of the Coco's. Amazing here from your musket player Social Hippie as we go back to the rest of the stats here. Stats for nerds. You liked it's a short sword. He's not supposed to do damage. That's okay. Stats for nerds. Stats for nerds. That's longsword, that's fine. Yeah, short sword's not doing much damage, but that's okay. So we go through the rest of the stats. I have been messaged now, and I'm concerned about what I'm about to see. Sir Cranky is 600,000 damage. JJ Azu is 700. Let's see how our muskets did on this side. Not bad. He did get greens and blues, so they got the value. Looks like this guy was a musket long, but Don Salvador gave 14 of the Cocos. Good choice by them. Getting all the Cocos out of the fight, making it a little bit hard for either side to do it. Alright. Someone messaged me and gave. I forgot to look at the stats for nerds page. The other stats for nerds page. Guys. Oh man, I keep forgetting to look at that page. That chart of how the engagements went. I believe first engagement was a little bit even, second engagement was bad. Yeah, so it went. Stats for nerds, unfortunately. Goddamn Nom messaging me. Bing bang bang. I made the password my Steam recording number. As we wait for this second fight to go in, let us go over that matchup once more of how it went. Once again, Rough Justice did win this out. A little bit interesting here by Rough Justice on this A defense. I feel like this ISG was just too far forward, but maybe that was their plan. It feels like we sold our ISG stalwart, right? Because this ISG dies really quickly. The Stalwart dies pretty quickly here as the fight went on. But that's a good CCI by that Stalwart player there. Gets the Cav. Hard to tell really what this Cav does. But you can see here, maybe this mind controls Yeah Buddy to want to go into... Hold on. This maybe mind controls Yeah Buddy to want to go through this small choke. They saw the units, they're like, okay, let's go into here. Now, going into here is good anyways because, you know, there's Cav flank there, there's Cav flank there. It's going to be really hard for Cav to, you know, swerve around there. So, either way, I think it was good for Yeah Buddy to go into there, but maybe this did a little bit of mind control. And you can see here, Yeah Buddy do a little bit split of their units. I looked down there, I shouldn't have looked down. A little bit split of their units, but amazing. Like, this little blob of units holds so much more than it really has any right to. Probably has the value of the Zycalian militia doing amazing work and the Halb sergeants doing great things. You can see this blob just holds. Like, even with Rough Justice losing basically everywhere else, I think there's a red blob there and a red blob there. So all their supplies are being blocked, while Yeah Buddy's supply is not being blocked. So while Rough Justice can't ever reinforce this point, these units that remained at this corner spot, holding on for dear life, doing amazing, insane work there, was able to even out the trade a little bit better. We started the fight. Let's go over what started the fight, right? We started the fight 1600 versus 1700, right? 16 versus 1700. As we go at the end here, let's go all the way, 16 versus 17. Yeah Buddy lost about 400 units, where Rough Justice also lost about 400 units. So it was fairly even in how that unit trade went, even though it looked like Yeah Buddy was surrounding, enveloping, and doing really good with the trades. It was actually fairly even when it came down to the end there. Yeah Buddy obviously did a little bit better at supply blocking, making it so Rough Justice couldn't go back in. So they do win the A point there, but Rough Justice was, instead of being able a total loss, was able to even out the trade with it seemed like superior positioning. So we go into the artillery phase. Nothing really happened in this artillery phase. Yeah, some things died. I do enjoy how Rough Justice broke the trebs here. I think Yeah Buddy could have played this a little bit more aggressively. Yeah, you have the time, but while you're waiting here, Rough Justice broke 3 trebs. And, I mean, breaking 3 trebs is a pretty big deal. That's a lot of balls that are no longer coming at Rough Justice. So they don't really mind sitting in trebs as much as they did before. Now they're like, okay, there's still balls coming at our face, but they're not as big of balls. There's just not as many. Who cares? I don't think they ever broke that middle treb. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to go into the rest of this as we are going into the match. I heard the ding go off. And I do not have the production value to be able to... I do not have multiple people to be able to run that post-match the entire time while doing the game showing. As we go into this match, we still have Rough Justice on the defender side on Reginopolis. They did win the 1-0, so if they win here, it now comes really hard for Yeah Buddy to do the pullback. Reginopolis is very defender favored, so I'm going to be very interested into seeing how Yeah Buddy attacks this map, bringing the Zycalian militia, but I think it's a little bit hard for Cocos to get value on this map, especially if Rough Justice defends the front of C. If they defend the back of C, sure, their Cocos will be, everybody's Cocos will be a little bit better there, as they don't have to worry as much about muskets, but they still have to worry, as it's very hard for Rough Justice to have their muskets pressured out by really anything. We are seeing my Cocos, we're going over 1, 2, 3, 4 Zycalian Michelin Cocos by Yeah Buddy, compared to 1, 2, 3, 4 by Rough Justice, also bringing a flame, 2 flames, and a cannon. A lot of specialty being brought out by Rough Justice. Also, the Doppelsnellers by Yeah Buddy. So a lot of specials being brought out here. Again, we have the Helot Auxiliary, but it's level 13 Helot Auxiliary. It doesn't matter what level it is, as long as they have the Doctrine for the movement speed, damage reduction. Who cares? But hopefully, Yeah Buddy uses the Helot Auxiliary this time to get that movement speed and the damage reduction to, if the Rough Justice is defending their front point, be able to really walk up those stairs quickly. So we go into, oh, I have my Q&E. Already starting out with a 300 unit difference. Rough Justice is bringing a lot of greens, doing the purple-green method of unit comps compared to Yeah Buddy doing a little bit more balanced of a composition. Oh. Scorpio's not hitting anything, unfortunate. At least I don't think they did. Yeah, everything's still full health, everything's still okay, nothing really lost there. Starting Arnie didn't find anything of value. Let's go in. That's the way Rough Justice is immediately going back to C. Though it does look like they have basically all their units back at C. I'd be very surprised if Rough Justice defends A, B here. As usually competitively, I don't think that's ever seen. It does look like that we have a little bit of a skirmish happening there, but the Chain Dart will not be able to find the musket. It is now Rough Justice walks back to C. Hopefully not losing any units in the process here. They did lose some of their Rattan round shields, maybe losing a Rattan pike as well. It doesn't look like anyone's going to be catching it. Okay, so they do catch some of the rat pikes, some of the round shields. Treb comes in, hits even more of the rat pikes. Rough Justice is losing some units before the fighting even begins. I hate to see it. A little bit of out positions here. They're just keeping their units in the fighting zone when they really don't need to be keeping them. Unfortunate for Rough Justice, you know, already down basically half a unit of rat pikes and down in exactly half a unit of Rattan round shields. As now we wait. Does look like Rough Justice is going to be defending behind C. Instead of in front of it, judging by how their composition works. But I don't think that will be the greatest of places. I don't know really where they're going. They could go front of C, they go back of C. Let's get a little bit more of an angle here. So we wait for Yeah Buddy to get that C assault. 15 minutes on the clock. Plenty of time to do whatever they want on the match here. Haven't broken C breach yet. I guess our bombard players maybe don't know how to hit the C breach. I know I don't know how to hit the C breach. I have to hit it with the culverins instead because I am a bot and don't know how to do it. I know someone out there knows how to hit that C breach with a bombard. Looks like they're still trying, but we haven't hit that breach yet. So it'll be a little bit rough here. Maybe Rough Justice is baiting Yeah Buddy to come up the stairs and then going to meet them on the front of C. It is definitely a play to be had. I'm going to just look at Trebs. And then there's all there. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's 9 Trebs on this map. Sheesh. As we just go into this artillery phase, nothing's really happening here. Not really to talk about. This map has a very long time for things to happen. So look at units have gone down. I guess Yeah Buddy is just waiting for Rough Justice to run out of artillery shots. I'm a little confused as to why Rough Justice is using their artillery shots early here. It does look like they do connect with that IPG unit, but it is IPG, so none of them will go down there. This does seem a little bit weird from Rough Justice to waste all their artillery shots before the fighting even starts. It does look like Yeah Buddy is getting one mortar in response, maybe a little bit annoyed by the triple mortar firing into them and not wanting to deal with it anymore. We do have a short sword over there. Let me increase minimap size so everyone can see that, in case anything happens. Yeah, buddy, going into the tunnels. If there's any fighting that happens in the tunnels, I will not catch it because I'm not going into the tunnels. Once again, we still haven't broken Sea Breach, and we've spent now 2 minutes kind of waiting. Yeah, buddy's only placed 2 artillery, and they're now placing a little bit more artillery to deal with Rough Justice here, realizing that Rough Justice has now ran out of artillery shots to be able to bomb down on them. Do peek a little bit forward here. Double ISG, so a very healthy, tanky front line there. Deal with the... Does look like Rough Justice is going to be giving C. Definitely interesting play here. Realizing that the Sea Breach is still up, so they don't want... Sea Breach is still up, so they realize that it's up, so we don't need to defend in front of C. We're going to have Yeah Buddy waste the artillery and the trebs to break the Sea Breach there. It does look like maybe good catch by Rough Justice. Having that maul grab, it does get Winkrow out of the fight. Treb coming into the... Oh, it does look like Yeah Buddy, Rough Justice is actually fighting out on the point. Amazing Treb coming in, but the Hussar charge was straight through as well as the fight rages on. Rough Justice actually coming, extending out of the fight, trying to get some value. Yanyadows into the back of Yeah Buddy. Does not look like they actually released a load. Flames getting insane value as well as Rough Justice peeks out of the fight. I just did not expect this from Rough Justice coming out and getting the value there. Looks like the flames are getting dove by the short sword, but the Treb comes in, does not look like it connects. Does get most of the flames. We're down to 3 models of flames remaining. Rough Justice doing a really good sally out, baiting Yeah Buddy into the sea point, going back in, and now we're going home. A weird play by Rough Justice here. I guess they just didn't want to defend the back of C. Definitely an interesting play. I just wasn't expecting this. I mean, the Sea Breach hasn't gone down. They could very easily defend this small gateway from Yeah Buddy advancing in, but I guess Rough Justice deciding instead of defending behind C, instead just goes to home. 13 minutes on the clock. Yeah Buddy doesn't really have the artillery, I guess, to do any more sieging, but definitely an interesting play by Rough Justice here. I'm a little confused here because with Sea Breach still up, I feel like it would have been better for Rough Justice to defend behind C. They had the supply, they had the supply right there, and yeah, it's like fairly easy to supply block. You have the units, like you had an Orochi, you just have the Orochi sit on the supply and kill anybody. Do we have a chain dart on with Rough Justice? We have a dual blade, so we have a dual blade with the Orochi, so really the dual blade could have kept the supply open, but I guess Rough Justice deciding they did not want to defend behind C. Definitely an interesting play here by Rough Justice as we go into this. home engagement. Doesn't look like everybody will be starting out. Oh, everybody be spending the time sitting here. We do have a culverin really far forward. Maybe hopefully baiting someone to walk forward into this, but they do have the musket players to be able to bomb it as well. Cannon being placed by the dual blade. Quite a few artillery being placed. It does look like we have a treb going in on the culverin back there. As everybody now comes into this fight here as we go into our engagement. Fight goes in, the flames come out. Unfortunately, the short sword will dive them, but the short sword does not do enough damage to kill the flames, and now the flames are going to be able to free fire in. Nobody else is diving the flames. We have free firing cannons as well as do double short sword now going into the cannons and the flames. The cannons getting 1-2 shots off, and now they will be actually, no, it looks like some of them are still alive there as cannons now have to rebuild. The flames look like they have gone out as well, but the Maul tries to get in and do the damage. Unfortunately, the Maul goes down as well. Yeah, but he does not have the units to really continue this push. It looks like they're trying to go through the small gate, but we have a stalwart and an Orochi guarding. Good Orochi stab doesn't catch most of them, but will go down to the remaining of their Cudelier charge, I believe that was. We have lost most of our cannons and flames. Now everybody has to regroup. Amazing defense by Rough Justice there. Baiting with a specialty maybe to get the heroes to get out of position and cleaning them up fairly well. Let's go into how unit deaths, hero deaths are. We have 1 person, 2, 3, 4 people on Yabari on their last life, while Rough Justice, only 2 people have died on Rough Justice, and they've only died once. Amazing defense by Rough Justice there, doing insane value. I just didn't expect the home defense to work that well, but they just were able to pull it off so well. It's surprising for me. As we go into now 10 minutes remaining as our secondary push here, 752 to 1298 units. It's going to be very hard for Buddy to claw their way back into this game. Down 500 units is pretty oppressive there. It's basically an entire push, and see how Buddy is able to deal with how this goes. Trev comes in, does hit some of the stalwarts there, but she actually hits most of the stalwarts there as our engagement comes onto it. Everybody immediately swarming on the point. Looks like we have the dagger axe, not dagger axe, those are either yeoman or cooliers go straight through Buddy, as Rough Justice now tries to reclaim the space that they gave. Doing a little bit of good groundwork, good control, reclaiming space, going into the left flank of Buddy, maybe even able to get behind them. It does look like they're keeping some units on this small gate there, but they will now rotate over to deal with the ISG. Another Cudelier charge goes in, but there is nothing really for them to connect with. Going a little bit too far left there. Cataphract, the Lancers going through the small gate. Rough Justice looking fairly low on units here. But again, a lot of steam. Another Cudelier charge goes straight down the line. Another one straight down the line, going through the Fort of Brascio, through the Zycalian Militia, through everything there. Buddy running out of units, down to 340. And also down, look at where it looked rough for Rough Justice. They just sent the cav spam through the middle of the map, and it just cleaned up all of Buddy's units. Buddy's still having some units there to be able to recover the situation, but now they don't really have anything there. Trying to claw their way back the space. Cudeliers coming through the point, able to claim back some space on the small gate, but now Rough Justice has a stalwart there at the small gate, able to hold off any advance in. It's just the Wuxing and the Demence Arbalest trying to get some damage into the stalwarts, but the stalwarts will hold fast. Not able to go down very hard as the rat pikes, they do hold long enough for the rest of Rough Justice to be able to reinforce the fight and push Buddy back out of the gate. As Buddy goes down to 80 units. And that will most likely be it for Yeah Buddy. That is going to be 2-0. Rough Justice in the lead here. Yeah Buddy on the back foot when Yeah Buddy was predicted to win by the community in this matchup. So Yeah Buddy has to do some has to win their next 2 matchups here on Allenberg and Border for Redux. Basically showing by Rough Justice here, able to really prove me wrong here. I thought that our comp would have been better at that behind C hold, but they apparently just practiced and scrimmed it enough to be able to hold home with really no worries. It did look a little sketchy there at one point, but proving that actually everything was okay and there was nothing to worry about. Oh, looks like we have a little bit of remaining cooliers. They will catch the Orochi. So I go in. Units remaining. Rough Justice having the green. Rough Justice favoring. This is why now Yeah Buddy was the one to ban Phalanx and Modal. And it looks like the Phalanx and Modal ban is actually turning out to be in favor for Rough Justice rather than in favor of Yeah Buddy. It seems like Yeah Buddy just doesn't know how to play with their gold anti-cav out of the game. Just kind of getting ran over by Cav. It looked like just they took the space, they got the space, but the Cav was able to just kind of roll over them, not having that, you know, the Modal units to be able to stop the Kudalier charge is incredibly rough. And again, this was a Yeah Buddy saving Kudalier, so Rough Justice really playing into Yeah Buddy's bans and saves. Incredibly well, as we hopefully Yeah Buddy now leaves the match so I can get into the goddamn post battle. This guy needs to get out. Thank you. We'll go to our post battle stats here. You see Yeah Buddy a lot on 3 deaths where Rough Justice, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people died in the match. Just by that alone, Rough Justice just kept their heroes alive the entire fight. Nobody died, and that really helped them with the double pulling and all that. As we go into stats for nerds, here's Yeah Buddy stats. If you like stats, look at these stats. Wow. I know I love stats. Damn. $48K from our Glaive player. Unfortunate there. We go back into the stats and stats for nerds. MVP black 150. I don't know, maybe it's Don Salvador. Who knows? Oh, that's a short sword. Oh, 28K. Let's go, 28K from our Glaive. But they were doing double unit pulls and probably buffing and worried more about positioning, so that's okay. Still got out damaged by a short sword. Charts. Yeah Buddy is red. You can see in all these engagements here, it wasn't that different of spikes. Right, it's not that different of spikes. Now there is quite a bit of spikes here. You can tell it is quite a big difference here, maybe like 150 unit kill difference. But you can see by the deaths. I mean, hero kills, the deaths just so different there. Red. Yeah, they just lost. As we go into our post-battle analysis, once I rejoin the lobby, once I regain the lobby, we will be going over this. This will be now swapping sides. So let me swap the logos around. Rough Justice will be on the attack now. Let us go over how that match went. So we wait on. Don't look at my like. Hold on. Let's get in. Hopefully my YouTube has updated. There we go. As we go into this amazing showing here, let's get a little bit closer here. Everybody just took their time, but it seems like they didn't take their time and prepare enough for this. Like, as you can see here, there's 3 people here in this flank area. I didn't see them because my eyes are in this area. I'm not even looking over here. Now this is like a very important part for you guys. This flank on C, it's very important. As you see, I went camera eye position behind C because I was like, okay, they're going to fight here. But the sally out actually did amazing work here. As you see by these SARs, there's no anti-cav here. As you saw, that cav went... Oh my god, help. Guys, I pressed too many buttons. You saw by that SAR... You see by this Hussar charge, which was an insane Hussar charge. But who knows? But this gets... See by the top left, 1, 2, 3 unit kill, 4 unit kill, 4 hero kills with that Hussar charge. Immediately, yeah, buddy is just down 4 heroes. It's now 14, 15 versus 11. Insane Hussar charge. This basically guarantees the first start of this fight. It just goes straight through. All these shields are either dead or very low HP, which gives Rough Justice the space to be able to take. And as you can see, the stalwarts are able to hold the line against the other cav charges. Rough Justice does try to get in some Yans in there. It doesn't look like the Yans do as much as you would want them to do, but we already had the Hussar charge do amazing things. We had the Flames doing amazing work as well. Cleans up the rest of the fight. Or Rough Justice didn't lose a singular hero life there. Not really many people die after that initial Hussar charge, but there was still... Oof. There was still, you know, that Hussar charge controlled the sway of the battle so much that, yeah, buddy just unfortunately was not able to recover from the winged Hussars. Let's go over it one more time for everybody to see. I mean, they did do a very good preemptive treb here. Maybe I would have liked to see that treb a little bit earlier, but you can see by the time like everything comes in, like that treb is landing basically a perfect timing. So it was like a good treb, but like those Hussars just, they just went all the way through. Our shoots a dinger are very low, so they probably can't get as much healing as you would like. It looks like these... It looks like yeah, buddy's Yans also don't go in. They actually turned left. So instead of going into that blob and getting like big damage, they turned left. And yeah, they still got damage in, but quite a few models just never got the damage you would have liked to seen. And they never really got their second cast off, so it would have been better for them to just int in and do the damage anyways. That Rough Justice pull back to home. I don't like the call to pull back to home, but I can understand the snowball risk. You know, if you lose behind C, but none of them died at this point, so you have fast respawns. Even if you full 15-man die here, you probably stall it out long enough for you to respawn and get back to home. But it seems like they practiced that home defense well enough to where Yeah Buddy really seemed to struggle here. As we see by the specialty meter, there's, you know, the Cocos here by Yeah Buddy, but we had the cannons, flames, and Cocos by Rough Justice. So we had 3 specialty here. A crazy amount of specialty from a Rough Justice. And I don't think even they got that much value, as they came pretty far out. You see, they could have played in this shield ball here, but instead they're playing out here in this open area where they could have played in here. While it would have been, no, it is harder for them to get value because of, you know, the angles and all that stuff, but it's still playing out here. But maybe this was a chance. Also, Lamau Longsword Ult Flame didn't kill a singular one. They are all full. They just don't care. Monastic Charge straight through the back of Yeah Buddy. That is an insane. It seemed like Rough Justice had the cav play to really deal with Yeah Buddy, and they just could not deal with it at all. As we go into our third match of this series here. Now, Yeah Buddy on the defense side of Allenberg. Allenberg is a little bit easier of a defense, so Yeah Buddy should be able to win this defense here, but they've been looking a little shaky against Rough Justice. They do have a full Culverin loadout from Yeah Buddy, so we will be seeing the tower denial from them. They're in a flame, Cocos, you know, standard stuff for a gate defense. Doesn't look like they're bringing any anti-cav, but doesn't look like Rough Justice is bringing that much cav. A little bit interesting here from Rough Justice. They brought a lot of cav in the previous matchups, but it seems like this time they are not. Also, we even have a Wu Wei, which is an interesting pickup from Rough Justice. Also a Queen's Knight as well from our DB player. Queens are pretty good with DB, so it does make sense. But it's a little interesting. As we go into this matchup here, once again, Yeah Buddy has to win this matchup or this will be a 0-3 and it will be very embarrassing for Yeah Buddy. We'll see how they perform. This should be a very easy hold for them. You know, tower hold, you could place your culverins all the way on that back wall, so they're free to fire with absolutely the only chance of getting destroyed is by trebs, but it's hard to treb there because these towers you cannot climb on top of. You have to do it from the side of them. It's a little bit more annoying to try to treb with, as Rough Justice immediately trying to get on the wall. It's a very split wall, try to push up. As you see, we have the Rotan round shield climb. It does look like that only one ladder is left up. Good by Yeah Buddy. I'm not going to be able to zoom in on many of these fights as it's just a Rotan climb here, but it does look like Yeah Buddy will be defending this Rotan climb very easily. Let's go over to this right side, as this right side looks like it might be more of a little bit of an issue from Yeah Buddy. It seems like a lot of the rats will get up there. Treb coming in gets a big hit on those stalwarts, killing a lot of the stalwarts there, getting a good 13 of them. Does not find any of the Wuxing, but they will get all the rats defeated, as Yeah Buddy does defend from the rat climb. Actually, it looks like a rat climb was able to make its way over here on the left side of the map. As now Yeah Buddy is going to look pretty rough here. It looks like that gate is actually open. So we do have a short sword already into the back of Yeah Buddy, and we have a glaive trying to stop him, but a glaive versus a short sword. Yeah, the glaive is going to be able to stun him for a bit, but you cannot stop the short sword from doing anything. And they will land that tower immediately. We're not even breaking. It's only at half HP, and the glaive just does not have the damage to be able to deal with the short sword, clearing all of the back artillery. And this is already looking really bad for Yeah Buddy, letting a tower land. And Rough Justice Rattan climb seemed like it worked out incredibly well. Getting that good distraction off, it just seemed like Yabadi was not prepared to deal with the Rattan climb from Rough Justice, and now Rough Justice has a tower landed, so they can easily get on the wall, get that A point, even push their B point, really do whatever they want here. So they get a little bit of B capture. The Wuxing look like they are retreating and not actually trying to fight there, so we do get a few of the Wuxing there, as it does look like maybe Yabadi will catch the two Rough Justice, the Pike and the Glaive, but it does look like they are able to get out the musket player bombing the chase squad and get them out. And how the Rough Justice already has a tower landed, Yabadi is not doing any more tower denial. Okay, Rough Justice just lost a person, don't know where he died, but he died somewhere. Just died somewhere on the map, a little bit of maybe of an opposition there. Just, out of position, didn't know where to go. It fell out, it happens, we all fall off the wall once in a while. And yeah, buddy, not defending any more towers. Maybe this is part of the plan, and they didn't actually want to do a tower denial. But if they place that much culverins, as you can see here, yeah, buddy doesn't have really any other artillery left. They have one culverin remaining, so it's going to be very hard. And yeah, Rough Justice now capturing the A point, not getting contested at whatsoever. Who cares? It's A point. Got time. This will probably generate about 3 minutes, so Rough Justice now has plenty of time to really do whatever they want, position however they want, take whatever engagement they want. We do have 2 Kozos out. Seems like Yabadi will be holding closer to this supply area. 6.5 minutes on the clock. Treb coming in. Does not look like it meets with anything there. It does look like Rough Justice will be fighting over here by the B point on the wall. Will they be placing? It does look like they are placing the artillery. They're placing plenty of mortars and a culverin to try to snipe out some units, but the musket will break the culverin instantly. But who cares about the culverin? We're caring more about the mortar. We do have a counter culverin on the side of but he does look like it missed the double mortar there, but we'll find that mortar. We'll find one of the mortars. Now they just have to deal with one mortar, and there is a ballista coming up by that spiritual. A little bit of a zealots and longsword, kind of out of position here. I don't know what Mercy Pins is doing, but maybe do a little bit of trolling. A little bit of trolling there to get onto there. Get on the point there. Sorry about the ads. I did not realize that they were going in. That's my fault. I should have paid more attention to how the ads were going. Looks like that we do have a musket player maybe get caught out. Will be caught out. Socialist Hippie just a little bit too far forward, overextending. Will die out there. As Rough Justice now pushes onto the point. Everybody now trying to get the cav in. Does try to get the... Damn, that could instantly die to the IPG wire. I don't even have time to see how that cav really went in. Good stalwart. Now, yeah, but he's spamming the cav straight out, surrounding and enveloping all of Rough Justice as the kills feeds comes in. The cav swarming around, eating Rough Justice up for breakfast, and the fight is already over. The cav just went straight through quite literally everything, and it's already over there. Not having that gold handicap, not having any modalities really just lets Yabadi have the unit, the cav advantage there. Rough Justice is not able to get the cav in through the small gate. It's very hard to get cav through that small gate there, especially if there's anybody defending. It doesn't look like anyone was defending, as no Mercy Pins was able to get a Coutelier charge in there. But the Couteliers just unfortunately were unable to clear out the point. You know, you only have one cool leader charge compared to the yeah buddy having like 8 cav cleaning through Rough Justice as we go into this. Trade's still fairly even. Even with that cav spam doing amazing things from yeah buddy, the trades do look fairly even. A little bit more gold by yeah buddy there, but a lot less purples. Oh, I'm blind, guys. I'm blind. I'm sorry. I'm not paying attention. I didn't realize they would go through the gate. My bad. Engagement coming in on this gate, but we had the flames from yeah buddy burning into Rough Justice. But it doesn't look like the flames are getting as much value as you would like. Another cool leader try to go straight through. We do have the there's like alien militia from yeah buddy doing amazing work. It seems like the flames are not firing anymore. Running out of ammo as we now have the double cool leader charge trying to get in, but the stalwarts will hold strong. We keep sending cool leaders into them. But it doesn't seem like they're getting any more value as we have the Yanya Dao into the back line as we go in here. Does look like yeah buddy will clean up Rough Justice. We're down to 800 versus 1100 there. A little bit of troll from Rough Justice there, not able to get the value you would like to see, just getting kind of ran over by cav. They did it to yeah buddy in the previous 2 matches, and now they are getting dealt the exact same fate where Rough Justice now 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 people on their last life, where yeah buddy nobody on their last life, making it look like it's very easy here for them. Now down to a minute and a half. Rough Justice has to make an insane play here. It does look like they get the Cooliers into the back of the Wuxi Pikemen, but the Arbalest will catch the rest of the Cooliers. So we go back, it looks like we're doing another wall 2 B push. B is down to mostly captured, so this is really Rough Justice's really only hope here as we go in to this engagement. They have to make it fast. A minute on the clock as they go into the fight. The cav goes in immediately. It doesn't get stopped by the stalwarts in their brace. More cav goes in. Doesn't look like they get any value as the fight rages on. Looks like the double pulls over from Yebe are just pulling as much as I can. Rough Justice has their foothold. It's trying to spread out. Does have the shoots a dinger getting amazing heals in. 40 seconds on the clock. Does look like they are winning this fight very handily, getting the stalwarts out on the flanks, now blocking any flank routes. Yeah, buddy, running out of units, trying to pull more, but now Rough Justice is blocking their supply. They do have the, yeah, but he does have the Orochi on the supply, hopefully they clear it, but the point is now taken. 2.5 minutes on the clock. Rough Justice will capture the B point. Yeah, buddy, now back on the back foot, having their B point now down to C point, trying to hold the supply here. Can't pull any units because Rough Justice is blocking, and now the rotation is now being blocked as well as the Rough Justice now rotates their units to the supply, getting finding the rest of the kills, getting this Orochi Samurai out of the fight. It does look like Yabari is retreating back to the home point. A minute and 50 seconds, 2 minutes on. Let's look like 2 of Yabari left the match. 2 of you buddies did seem like they left the match, but none of them are on a final death, so it's a little confusing there why they left the match. Rough Justice having 1 person, 2 people, 3 out of the match, so it'll be 12 verse 13 here as we go into the points here. C is getting captured. Captured. 3 minutes on the clock. Rough Justice says 3 minutes. So units looking fairly even here, but there is 90 units on the side of Rough Justice that are gray. 68 from buddy. So it is still fairly even on the units quality and trade. Wondering how they're going to be able to push this point. Buddy having that wall, able to bomb any greens. Blues Musket trying to get some value there. I don't know how they're going to push this. Not many people. I lost my Q and E, so I can't zoom. So we go on to this fight here. This might be a split push. It does look like they have 3 at the left gate and most at the right gate, as it looks like they are pushing in on the map. Oh, I don't have Q and E, so I'm slow to rotate the camera in as the fight rages on. Rough Justice does push through the gate, but it doesn't. Looks like they are getting stopped in their tracks. The Yan Yadao are charging. It looks like they are full charge. Where are we going with our Yans? They're not going to the fight. It looks like they actually, it's a good chance because Roach Justice got wiped by the Cudelier charge. And yeah, buddy will be able to hold on the defense. After it's trying to get some units back in here, yeah, but he actually closed the gate. And now down to 1.5 minutes left. Okay, very hard for Rough Justice to be able to do this. They have to just go in, but it doesn't look like they have the units to really hold it. Yeah, but having a ISG actually sally out on them, really, like, what is Rough Justice going to be able to do? Cudelier going through the back does not look like it was able to go fully through. Another Cudelier does go through, but it does not actually get much value, as now Rough Justice will lose. Doesn't look like they have the steam left in the engine to be able to continue this fight on. It looks very close there for a second, but yeah, buddy will win the defense as we go into a 2-1, where we are going now into Border Fort Redux. Coolier's cleaning up some serfs. Or Martellatori. Not serfs. Serfs are banned. Yeah, Martells. Brave soldiers, look at them docked. These soldiers are going to do God's work. Look at all that HP that they have. Holy, that's like 1,000 HP. That's crazy. Wow.